Hey there folks. So in previous videos we've edited our editor utility widget to add in some transform options. We've now got the ability to offset our actor's location, offset it by a set amount or a random amount, and also the ability to target the X, Y or Z or a combination of those axes specifically. What we're going to do now is we're going to add in a rotational section onto here, and we're going to use that to provide some tools so we can offset the rotation by defined set amounts or random amounts, and also having some kind of control for the XYZ as well. So very similar to what we've done with the location, and we're going to find that most of the stuff we're going to do here is going to be very similar to everything that's already been there. But you can see how straight away just having those rotational things allows us to put a whole bunch of objects into our scene and add those random rotations so that they become a little bit more natural in their placement. They're not all matching on a grid in a 90-degree rotation. So it's going to add a little bit more variation, a little bit more realism to everything we're placing in our level. So to start, I'm just going to go into my editor utility widget level tools that we've created before. I'm going to start by adding in all the actual individual sections that we're going to need in order to make this work. So really what we're going to want to do is maybe duplicate some of the bits that we've already got in our transform section. So over here, I'm going to find my widget switcher. I'm going to just minimize all these bits over here, and you can see we've got our transform tools. So if I select that, you can see it changes what is the current active index of our widget switcher when we select the different children inside of that. So I'm going to take this transform tools, and you can see right now I've got a whole bunch of stuff in here. I've got this location tools title, I've got a horizontal box for all these buttons, and another one here. What I could do is I could actually wrap all these bits into their own little vertical box, so I could have a vertical box specifically for location tools. Right, let's just do that. That seems like a sensible idea. So let's go with a vertical box here. You can see nothing changes inside of that. The vertical box has no padding, so everything just gets arranged into there. And we'll just take these, arrange them in there, and we'll call this one VBox Location Tools. Okay. Now let's do the exact same thing again below it, and we'll have a vertical box. So I'm going to take another vertical box. I'm going to add this one inside of my transform tools. So you can see now I've got my location tools, and this one appears below it. So I could always add some spacers. I could always go and add some padding, maybe, a little bit of padding up at the top. Like 15 padding, you see, brings this one down a little bit. This one is going to be very similar to the one we just did. It's going to be VBox, and we'll go with it being rotation tools. Okay, well, what do I need actually from the one above it? I'm going to take the title, I'm going to copy and paste that into there. So that's going to create me a new version of this text, and this one we can just put rotation tools. So now I've got a location tools and a rotation tool section. I'm going to need a horizontal box, and I'm pretty much just going to copy what I've got for the one above. So I'm going to have a horizontal box there, and then I'll have another horizontal box. And at the moment, they're not going to really feel like there's much going on. But what we can do is we can obviously duplicate some of the bits we've already got here for our location, and we can just rename them instead to be the vertical elements. So let's start by just taking one of these buttons and one of the pieces of text that's assigned to them. We'll go to the first horizontal box, the one that's going to be on top. You can see here, switching between them, don't really see any difference, but the one that's on top is going to be our first one. And this one is going to be offset actor location. Well, I don't actually want to just do offset actor rotation. What I want to do is I want to first of all have some set easy values that I might want to use quite a lot. The idea of rather than having to go into this offset amount and having a rotation amount and having to type in here for something like 45 degrees or 90 degrees, I might want to have some set elements that I always want to do. So I'm just going to go here and just do -90, and this one we'll just call it the rot offset. I'll go with min90, so it's -90, and we'll rename the button as well because we want that to obviously be correct. So we'll go with rot offset min90. And now that I've got that, I can actually take that, Control C, go to the horizontal box. I'm going to duplicate it, go to the horizontal box again, duplicate it again, go to the horizontal box again, duplicate it again, and go to the horizontal box and duplicate it again. So I'm actually going to put out, I'm going to put 4 or 5 of these. I'm going to decide whether I want 5 in a moment. The first one, after the one we've just written, is going to be minus 45. And I'm just going to change this to min 45. So you can see now I've got a button that is set to min 90, where it says minus 90. I've got a button that says min 45, and it says min 45 as well. So that's going to be really useful because obviously these buttons are going to be those specific amounts. And the next one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to rename this one, and let's just go with it being a reset button. So let's go with rot reset. And this one, I'm just going to have it so that I can reset it back to 0, 0, 0. You might want to have this separated, but I'm just going to use it as an easy, quick button to just reset it completely back, so it matches up with the world 0, 0, 0. And that makes it easier then to go, okay, let's reset it back to 0, 0, 0, and then use these to increase or decrease it by 45 or 90 degrees without having to go and type in any values. Now this is going to be add 45, and instead of just being minus 90, it's going to say, let's go with plus 45 so it's evident that it's adding it on. And this one here is going to be min 90, so let's change that to add 90. And again, we're going to just change just the minus symbol to an add. Okay, so lots of easy things for us to do here. You know, we're just taking buttons, just duplicating them out. I've got the exact same buttons multiple times. Now what we can do is we can come over into our event graph and we can start looking at tidying some of this stuff up. So these things here from previous video, these are location offset tools. We're going to make a whole new section, which is going to be our rotation offset. Now everything we've just done, we've been duplicating location buttons, so you can see that they've automated being in the correct category. So they've all gone into location. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through really quickly and just type in rotation. And you can see now I've got a new category called rotation. And I'm just going to take these buttons that we've just made. So rot offset, all 4 of those are going to go in there. And then there's also a rot reset. And then any of these values that we now make can go into this rotation section over here. So they're nice and easy to find. I'm going to select these buttons and I'm going to add an on pressed event for each one of them. So we've got add 45 and add 90. Then I'm going to do the minimum 45 and the minimum 90. And then I'll also add in a reset button as well. And we can obviously drag these a little bit closer. We'll drag them so they're a bit closer, easy to work with. Let's just move them over. So I'm going to go underneath. So I've got location, rotation, and then we'll go scale. And this will end up being one big section that's always just related to transform. Okay, so what do we do next? Well, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to take our current selection. We're going to take the elements that we currently have. So we've got this array here, this array of actors called current selected actors. I'm going to take that. I'm going to do a for each loop. So I can loop through that list. Even if there's just one there, we're going to loop through that list. And we're going to say for each of those elements, what do I want to do? Well, I want to take the element and I want to update its rotation. There's some really easy stuff that we can do for this one. We could add specific amounts. We could type in there and say, you know, for what we're going to do here, I want to add on 45. So this could be as easy as just taking the array amount and then go so the array elements of the individual object and just go and add actor world rotation. And what are we adding? Well, I'm just going to add on 45 degrees on the Z. Yeah, and that's as easy as this one needs to be. We just take each one of these, and for each one of them, we just add 45 degrees to their Z, to the point that I can actually just take these now, and I can duplicate a couple of them. So let's go with one there, and another one there, and another one there. Will it copy? Just duplicate it again. There we go. And let's go through these numbers. So this one, add 45, so positive 45. This one, add 90, so we'll go with positive 90. This one over here is minus 45, so I'm just going to put a minus symbol in, and that will take it minus 45 on the Z rotation. And this one here will be minus 90. And the last one is just the reset. And the reset, again, is very easy for us to do because we're not actually going to add any rotation to this, we're still going to take the current selected actors, we're still going to loop through them, but instead of setting the one to whatever it is with a new added amount, we're just going to go set actor rotation, and we're just going to say I want to set its rotation to 0, 0, 0, and that'll match up with the actual world 0, 0, 0, which is very useful for us to do. Okay, so let's just compile it and save all of those little elements now, and let's see how that works. Back in our scene, I'm going to just select a bunch of these crates. So you can see I've got a bunch of crates here. I'm just going to select all the ones that are currently aligned to that 90 degree. I can go over to my select options, select the actors in the level. So you can see now it says I've got 7, which are the 7 I have selected. And here in our transform section, we've got our rotation tools. So it should be a little bit easy to see because we've got that bar across the top of it. But if I do -90, you can see that they'll spin round and I can keep on rotating each one of them. If I go with +90, they rotate the other way. We can also do 45 degrees, and obviously 45 and then 90 is going to individually rotate them round their actual rotation. So it's not the same as when we select these and we go with a rotate, because at that point they all rotate round one element and they all rotate round as a group. So this allows you to place things exactly where you want them and then go and spin them around. So I could come over here and I could take this tower and say I want this tower to be facing this way. Yeah, I could rotate it round, but if I've got multiple of them and they're placed exactly where I want them to be, select the actors and just go, okay, well, let's rotate it round 90, 90. There you go. Now they're all facing in that direction instead. And obviously I can come over, and if I'm not happy with all those rotations, maybe I just select individual elements in the scene and I'm not happy with where they've ended up, so we can select them and we could just reset them all back to 0. And then obviously now I can go through and I could use these to add some fixed rotations to them, or even random rotations, which we'll do in the next video. But you can see straight away there's a lot more kind of random elements and a lot more random kind of placement to things by using this easy, quick tool. Thanks for watching, folks. If you enjoyed this video, then please consider subscribing to access more of my Unreal Engine content.